Representative David Coursin. Representative, you indicated 8 minutes.
No.
There is a 3-minute limit that we're trying. Thank you very much.
Much revised.
Okay, thank you
here's
very much.
written testimony that I would distribute to the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm Representative David Coursin from Northwood Rockingham County District 1, and I've distributed this copy, which is a complete copy of what I'm going to say here, and also 2 handouts that I'll refer to in my testimony. I support this bill because I think it's the right approach for keeping our schools as safe as possible in the midst of terrifying possibilities of school shooting. The odds of such an event are statistically very small, but our children are not statistical probabilities. So it's important to take all the steps we reasonably can to protect them from being that statistic. My testimony reflects my experience as a physician who is pro-gun. You'll find an explanation for that position in the handout entitled, "Who is pro-gun and who gets to decide?" You'll find information there about gun rights activists who insist I can't be pro-gun and why I don't accept their claims. I am pro-gun and remain so after many experiences with the destructive potential of guns and after having been endangered myself by angry people with guns. More about that in the handout. There are gun rights advocates who argue that the citizens have constitutional right. That's been addressed already in terms of discussion of Heller versus Washington, D.C., and I won't discuss that at all. I'll move on to reliable evidence that exists suggesting that armed citizens could be safely protective in a school shooting situation inside a school. And unfortunately, there isn't any reliable evidence. Instead, there's reason for concern that such defenders would contribute to schools becoming more threatening places that are less physically safe. We do not have any national database that's been recording the characteristics of all school shootings or the outcomes of reported public shootings that were ended by the intervention of an armed citizen. And you can see the handout about the Dickey Amendment explaining why we don't have that information. The FBI does offer one source of information that's been referred to. It's widely regarded as reliable. The information is collected is limited, but it's relevant. They've issued several reports about active shooter incidents since 2000. I've heard them discussed before. I'll briefly say what I got from those. That the 160 events they looked at from 2000 to 2013, there was no active shooter event at a school that was ended by an armed citizen. There were 4 that were ended by armed security guards, and there were 4 events that were ended by armed citizens, but no active shooter event at a school was ended by an armed citizen. In the 50 that were identified 2016 to 2017, there were 8 instances. And in one of those cases, a school shooting was stopped outside of a school by an armed citizen. Then relative to the gigantic number of days since 2000, when all U.S. citizens would have been at risk, that data is vanishingly small and no grounds for proving anything. Conservatively, the number is in excess of 100 billion days of risk. But these reports bring up a very important issue that concerns me as much as it concerns the people here that have spoken about the need for guns in the school. Because 27 events showed that 14 occurred in schools and were stopped by unarmed citizens, including people working in the school. And gun right activists would argue that this is proof that we need more armed citizens. And they would argue that everyone would be safer if we had them. The problem with this argument is I've experienced that after talking with a number of people who are professionals in the world of managing guns and training people with guns, is that you'll see more written testimony. There's a worrisome number of professionals that have grave doubts about untrained citizens safely responding to the chaos and speed of an active shooter incident inside settings like a school, incidents that are almost always less than 5 minutes in length and often less than 2. In their opinion, the likelihood of harm to innocent individuals is far too high, and the training is far too significant to be able to adequately and safely have armed citizens in school who are not trained. That's sufficient reason.
I'm going to ask you to suspend. You've now gone on for about 4 minutes. If you could summarize your statement.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. There is significant evidence about coercive control and the issue that in society with domestic violence, There are a number of circumstances where people and children, particularly at risk of feeling threatened by the presence of guns in their home, they're going to feel threatened by the presence of guns in their school. That population of children is significant, and we're going to put that population of children at significant risk for being traumatized further by the knowledge that the threatening item of a gun in their home is now going to be present in their schools. And with that, I rest.
Thank you very much. Are there questions of Representative? Can we have?
Croc TV.